to share a few points on how to save taxes and stay out of tax trouble. Today, we are in the middle of a short series on mental health, competency, and end-of-life issues, of course, as they relate to tax. Obviously, these issues affect a much more broad aspect of family and life overall and other financial issues, but we're trying to focus just on tax and how we handle that. The common theme in all of these is that all of us have an obligation to meet tax law requirements, that is, pay income taxes and file a tax return. There is no special exception for people that are having a difficult time with stress or mental health or are incompetent, perhaps temporarily or permanently with age decline or Alzheimer's related type issues. All of those come into play. Now, it seems like I'm seeing more and more of these, and it seems like I see more of them than other tax pros, but perhaps it's just a matter of you get a reputation for one area and get referred to others. It might be the case, but in any event, I'm seeing more of these cases. I want to get into a few specific points if you or a family member are dealing with this. So first thing is, a person with when mental competency is in question, first of all, it's almost never clear cut. It would be really simple if a relative handed me a court document signed by a judge saying this person's incompetent and here's their guardian. That's doesn't happen that way. There's rarely. I think I've had one case like that. Usually, there's questions of competency. There is the person, the client, the asset owner, taxpayer insists that they are competent, does not want to relinquish control, and yet I rely on my own observation more so than reports of family members. In just if I hear inconsistent responses, if they tell me one thing in one conversation and something different, I'm pretty good at picking that up, and I'll make notes of that. And so if the responses are inconsistent or the person has trouble remembering from conversation to conversation what we talked about, and if I say, remember we talked about this and we agreed that, and if it's not coming clear that that's the case, there's a clear competency issue. Most tax professionals and lawyers and accountants, that's a big red flag, and they get scared, and I don't blame them a lot. This is not their area, and they don't want to handle that. In my case, obviously, I do. The simple adjustment I make is that even if there's not a legal guardian, I always insist that a third person be involved in the communication. If it's email, then obviously it's as simple as a CC, but if it's a live conversation, then maybe three of us need to get on a call, or at a minimum, I need to confirm, which I'm pretty good at with work plan. This is what we did, this is what we agreed to, and this is what's next. So getting three people involved, so it's never a he said, she said disagreement is important for professional standards, as well as making sure that everyone, the client, the taxpayer, gets what they deserve out of the situation. But I do notice that people with competency issues do face a higher number of audits, penalties, exams, asset seizures, things like that. And it's a shame, but they do need, a person in that position does need to develop a trusting relationship with a professional and hopefully a family member, whether it's a spouse or not. I don't want to go too long here, but one of the issues that is inherently associated with this type of mental incompetency disorder, particularly traumatic brain injury, is an inherent distrust of people. You think that your spouse or your children are stealing from you, or you had that account or that automobile in the garage and it's not there anymore, whatever. Those types of issues are common, so we have to overcome that, and it helps to have a little bit of training, I think, in that area. Certainly, I don't know any tax professionals that are joint mental health professionals, but a little bit of training, a little bit of exposure helps to ease that transition and make those communications work out more effectively. We'd love to hear your thoughts, issue if you've had to deal with a competency issue with a friend or family member and messed with taxes. I'd love to hear about it. Share a little bit in the comments, or you can reach me one-on-one. I'm easy to schedule at taxproblems.cpa. I'll be back tomorrow with another